Hello students, in this video I am going to explain remaining parts of chapter 5 from your book Flamingo Indigo. Gandhi never contented himself with large political or economic solutions. So as you know that MK Gandhi registered a victory in the battle of Champaran sharecroppers, but Gandhi was a person who was never satisfied himself, who never got satisfied with a large political or economical solution. Actually, Champaran episode was a political success also because he included various lawyers in it, and it was an economical solution as well for the farmers, for the Champaran farmers. But Gandhi was a person who got never satisfied with such type of only economical and political solutions. Means he wanted some more success, and means wherever Gandhi went for his mission, he rooted out all the problems of that particular area. And Gandhi, after solving political and economical problem of Champaran, he saw that there are few more problems at that place, and he decided to solve all those problems as well. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in Champaran village and wanted to do something about it immediately. Gandhi noticed that there were cultural and social backwardness, means people of Champaran village were culturally and socially very backward, and he wanted to do something about the development of culture and social in the field of social also. Means he wanted to make them culturally and socially also developed, and he wanted to do immediately in this respect as well. He appealed for teachers. That's why MK Gandhi appealed for teachers to come for volunteer service. Mahadev Desai and Narahari Parikh, these two young men who had just joined Gandhi as disciples, who had just become the disciple, means pupil of student of MK Gandhi, Mahadev Desai and Narahari Parikh. Okay, these two young men were from Maharashtra, and their wives and wives of these two persons also volunteered for the work. They volunteered means they self-willed that they wanted to help Gandhi in developing the cultural and social backwardness of Champaran village. Several more came from Bombay at the request, because he appealed for the teachers. So several more people came from Bombay, Pune, and other distant parts of lands and other distant part of the of India. Devdas, Gandhi's youngest son. Devdas was the name of Gandhi's youngest son. Arrived from the ashram. He also came from ashram, means at Sabarmati from Gujarat, and so did Mrs. Gandhi, and Mrs. Gandhi also came. Primary schools were opened in 6 villages. Primary schools were started in 6 villages of Champaran. Kasturba, Miss Kasturba actually, wife of MK Gandhi, taught the ashram rules on personal cleanliness and community sanitation. She taught the Kasturba was it was duty of Kasturba to teach the cleanliness and the community sanitation, means how we can clean ourselves and how we can clean our surrounding. Means you can say that cleanliness was taught by Kasturba in ashram also in Sabarmati. She started doing the same thing here also. Health conditions were miserable. Health conditions were very bad in Champaran. Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his services for 6 months, and luckily Gandhi got a doctor who on self-will wanted to give his service for the Champaran people health improvement for 6 months. 3 medicines were available. Only 3 medicines were available at the time. Castor oil, it's a kind of Ayurvedic oil, you can say. Quinine, you know that it is got from a tree cinchona. From that we got quinine, medicine of malaria also. And sulfur ointment, and sulfur made ointment was there. Anybody who showed a coated tongue, anybody who had a coated tongue, means tongue problem, okay, was given a dose of castor oil, and with malaria fever received quinine. And a person suppose that having malaria fever was given quinine plus castor oil. Anybody with skin eruptions, anybody who has a skin eruptions, means skin problem, received ointment plus castor oil. So these 3 were medicines, and these were given to the patients in different diseases in a different rotation. Gandhi noticed the filthy state of women clothes. Gandhi saw that the women of Champaran were wearing very dirty clothes. Filthy state means dirty clothes. He asked Kasturba to talk to them about it. Gandhi asked Kasturba to talk to the woman about this. One woman took Kasturba into her hut and said, while Kasturba asked those women that they should wear clean clothes. One of the women took Kasturba to her hut, to her you can say nestling place, living place, and she asked Gandhi, Kasturba Gandhi, that look, there is no box or cupboard here for clothes, that we have no box or either we have no cupboard also to keep our clothes. The sari I am wearing is the only one I have. And she told that I am the sari which I have I am wearing right now, it is the single one I have. During his long stay in Champaran, Gandhi kept a long distance watch on the ashram. Gandhi was so curious person, and he was such a type of person who didn't overlook the either he was staying in Champaran and working for the betterment of Champaran people, but he didn't overlook the whatever it was going in ashram at Sabarmati in Gujarat also. Means he kept a long distance watch, means he was keeping a long distance watch also on the ashram. He sent regular instructions by mail and how he was taking care of ashram at Sabarmati also while he was staying in Champaran. He sent regular instructions, he sent continue instructions by mail, by post office, and asked for financial accounts, and he took time to time financial details, means money problem and whatever the amount they have in the ashram at Sabarmati. Once he wrote to the residents that it was time to fill in the old latrine trenches. Means how Gandhi was a keen person and how Gandhi took the problem so seriously. Whether he was staying in Champaran, but he knew that the latrine trenches, means the latrine ditches, which were dig long time ago. He was well aware, though staying in Champaran, he was well aware that in the Sabarmati ashram whatever the latrine trenches were dug would have been filled now, and now the new trenches needs to be dug. The old ones would begin to smell bad, because he told that the old latrine trenches will now start smelling, giving bad smell. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did, he explained. Gandhi himself told to the author of this chapter that the Champaran episode was a turning point in his life. It was a turning point, means important event of his life. Was a very ordinary thing. Actually, Gandhi told to Louis Fisher, the author of this chapter, that while I started Champaran movement, I thought that it was very ordinary movement. I declared that, but thereafter Gandhi declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. That from Champaran episode he learned that the British could not give any order to the Indians in their own country. Okay, so means he from Champaran episode, from Champaran movement, Gandhi learned that it is possible to ask Britishers to leave India. But Champaran did not begin as an act of defiance, but actually the Champaran was not the place which started, which was so important incident. It was important incident, but it was not so important. I mean, defiance means a kind of a direct challenge. It was not a challenge. Okay, Champaran episode was not so challenging for the British government. It grew out an attempt to elevate the distress of large numbers of poor peasants. Actually, it grew out, means it started of an attempt, means this moment was started with an effort to elevate, means to solve, to remove the distress, means problem of large number of poor peasants, of large number of poor farmers of Champaran. This was the typical Gandhi pattern. Actually, it was a typical Gandhi pattern. It was a special Gandhi pattern. His politics were intervened with the practical day-to-day problems. That his politics was attached with practical day-to-day problems also of the millions. As you can find in Champaran episode, that he not only solved the economical and social problem of Champaran farmers, but he made them political and economical problem. He made them. He developed them culturally and socially also. His was not a loyalty to the abstractions. His was, means Gandhi was not only loyal, means answerable, respectful to the abstractions, means to the ideas only, to the unseen, means Gandhi was not a person who only works for the God, that for the God's sake or for the inner conscience. It was a loyalty to living. Gandhi was loyal towards living beings also, human beings also. Means few people work for the help others because they think that there is God, and if we are doing good, then others will also, then God will also support us. We will get God grace. He was not only loyal to the abstraction, he was loyal to the God, but he was as well as loyal to the living beings also. In everything Gandhi did, moreover, means whatever Gandhi did, means whatever Gandhi took in his hand as a challenge, as a movement, he tried to mold a new free India. And free Indian means it was the effort of Gandhi not to solve the problem of those people. He wanted to make a new free Indian who could stand on his own feet, and thus make India free. Means Gandhi not only fight for the problem. Gandhi did not only solve the problem of the person. He actually teach the people how to stand on their own feet and fight for their own right, as he taught in Champaran to the Champaran farmers. Though he accepted 25% payment from the Britishers, but it was a kind of starting where the British landlords accepted their fault, and in the due course of time it happened that British landlord left the land properties, and all those land property reverted to the Indian farmers. So that was his working pattern early in the Champaran action. Now we are returning to the early Champaran movement. Okay, Charles Freer Andrews, the English pacifist, was an English pacifist, means a person who likes peace and non-violence, who had become a devoted follower of the Mahatma, who later on become a devoted follower of Mahatma Gandhi, came to bid farewell before going on a tour of duty to the Fiji Islands. While he was transferred from India to Fiji Islands, Fiji is a place name, Fiji Islands, he came to wish goodbye to M.K. Gandhi. Gandhi's lawyer friends thought it would be a good idea for Andrews to stay in Champaran and help them. While Charles Freer Andrews, because he was an Englishman, he was a follower, devoted follower of M.K. Gandhi. While he came to meet M.K. Gandhi while he was going to Fiji Island, and it was, students remember it was the beginning of the Champaran movement. Means Gandhi just arrived Champaran and he started the movement. No victory was registered. Gandhi's lawyer friends thought it would be a good idea for Andrews to stay in Champaran and help them. They thought that it will be a very good idea that Charles Freer Andrews likes M.K. Gandhi, and if he stays in Champaran and helps them in this Champaran movement, that will be a good idea. It was the idea of Gandhi's lawyer friends, means Rajendra Prasad and others. Andrews was willing if Gandhi agreed, and Andrews was also willing to help Indians in this Champaran movement if Gandhi agreed. But Gandhi was vehemently opposed. But Gandhi very aggressively opposed this. He was not in the favor of this movement. Means he was not. Gandhi did not take support of Charles Freer Andrews. Students will get the reason later on. He said, "You think," while Gandhi's lawyer friends asked him that why not, we should not take help from Charles Freer Andrews. Gandhi very angrily opposed and said, "You think," he said to the lawyers, "you think, you for the lawyers here, you think that in this unequal fight means fight between Champaran farmers and Britishers. So both parties are not equal. Britishers were very strong and Indians were slave. So he said that you think that in this unequal fight, it would be helpful if we have an Englishman on our side, and you all are thinking that if we have an Englishman on our side, it will be helpful for us. This shows the weakness of your heart. This shows that you are weak by your heart. You don't trust yourself. That's why you are taking a support of the Britisher. The cause is just you. The cause is just because we are fighting for a just cause, for justice, just for justice here. And you must rely upon yourself to win the battle, and you must trust yourself to win the battle. You should not seek a prop. You should not seek a support. Shelter means prop means shelter. You should not search a shelter, support in Mr. Andrews, in the form of Mr. Andrews, because he happens to be an Englishman, because he is an Englishman. Why Gandhi opposed and denied to take support from Charles Freer Andrews? Because Andrews was an Englishman. Suppose that he agreed to support Indians, but it was not a guarantee that if a person who can be against to his own community, to his own nation, Andrews, today if he is against to his nation, tomorrow he will not be against to the Indians, because he was not Indian by blood. So he would have leak all the secret confidential issues and decisions which were Englishmen were taking in this British Indians were taking in Champaran episode. He could give all those information to Britishers also. That's why Gandhi thought that Mr. Andrews is an Englishman, and that's why we should not take support from him. We should trust ourselves. He had read our minds correctly, Rajendra Prasad comments. Dr. Rajendra Prasad later on comments, because he was chief of the lawyers, that he had read our minds, that Gandhi had read our minds correctly, that we wanted support from Mr. Andrews, and he denied that. And we had no reply. And while Gandhi spoke these all the things that you think and unequal fight. So after listening these all the things, Rajendra Prasad said that we had no reply. Gandhi in this way taught us a lesson in self-reliance. Gandhi in this way taught us, Rajendra Prasad said, that taught us a lesson that we should, reliance means we should trust on self, we should trust on ourselves. Self-reliance means self-trust, self-belief, Indian independence and in freedom of India, and help to sharecroppers and helping to the sharecroppers were all bound together, are just looking different, but they are a single thing, that is called Indianism, and that is called a strong will to get freedom. Thank you, students.